Hi everybody, hope you're doing well. Today's segment is going to entail questions and answers from the audience. I first want to say thank you so much for submitting your wonderful questions. I haven't gotten a bad question yet, and I just want to say thank you for taking the time to submit. All your questions really help other people as well, so this is why I really want to address this. So the first question that I received, it was through an email, and it said, sometimes I have dreams that come true and don't know what that's all about. The dream could be about me, but the reality is it eventually happens in some type of form, but not for me. For example, I had a dream that my work contract got extended 9 months. A week later, my contract got extended 8.5 months. I'll dream about someone, and then all of a sudden, they will call. Or if they're dead, someone will mention that to me. That's a great question. What do dreams mean? Dreams are a heads up for a lot of people and a lot of reasons. You know, I remember years back, we had just bought a house, my husband and I. And my husband's grandmother and grandfather were very, very close to my husband and I. I loved them like they were my own grandparents. And they helped watch our daughter because we had a closing that day. And they were unpacking the house that we had. So we were selling a house and then we had moved into the house that we were. So I remember after the closing, his grandmother unpacked my whole kitchen for me, God love her, and she made dinner. And I remember all of us having dinner. And I remember his grandfather, who was a man of very, very few words. And he said, Tommy, he said to my husband, I just want to tell you that I've never been more proud of you as I am today. Out of all the grandchildren, you are the one grandchild who is the most unselfish, the most hardworking. And I just want to say, your grandmother and I are so incredibly proud of you. And my husband just looked at him and they hugged. And I'll never forget it. And I just was beaming because I just love this man. And his grandmother was just such a sweet, sweet lady, and she would just start laughing, you know. And it was just a beautiful night that we had. So they left, and we had gone to sleep. And all of a sudden, I woke up in the middle of the night crying because I saw Tom's grandfather, in a casket, okay? And I woke up crying, and my husband goes, honey, what's wrong? Are you okay? And I said, no. There's something wrong with your grandfather. I saw him dead in a casket. He goes, Susan, they were just here. Everything's going to be okay. I said, no, something's wrong. I know it. I feel it. He goes, honey, it's going to be okay. I go, we have to call and see how they are. He goes, it's 3:00 in the morning. He goes, I can't call them now. But he goes, I promise you, later on in the morning, we'll call them. But I knew different. Now you could say, but you're a psychic medium. It doesn't matter. I'm still a human being. And I had this livid, very, very vivid dream, seeing everything. And I was livid in seeing it. So it gets to be about 9:00 in the morning. And my husband's aunt had called saying that Tom's grandfather collapsed and they rushed him to the hospital. My husband looked at me in such a startled way, in a shocking way. So, of course, we went to the hospital and they diagnosed him with terminal cancer. Now, they gave him 3 weeks to live. My husband would go there every single day in the next 3 weeks. I would go there periodically because I still had a 20-month-old little girl at the time. My daughter was very young. But my husband would go there every single day and just sit with him. It was very, very important. My husband was breaking inside, and I will never forget it. It was very devastating for all of us. But my husband never had a father, and his grandfather was his father. So it was very hard. So needless to say, he passes away. And I can remember we're going to the wake, and I said to my husband, he's going to be in black trousers, white shirt, a gray jacket, and a burgundy tie. And he goes, what? And I go, because that was what was in my dream in the casket. When we arrived and we proceeded forward to the casket, there he was lying there in the gray jacket, the white shirt, the burgundy tie, and the black trousers. And my husband just looked at me and said nothing. I think part of him was resentful to what I saw because he was trying to process all of this. And I gave him his time to do it. So the answer to your question, when we have dreams and they come true, it's universe's way of giving us a heads up. Now, what could we do about it? Sometimes nothing, but it's just giving us the cheat sheets. It's giving us what's to come. Sometimes we have dreams where they're telling us what we need to do. Then I would suggest you do it. Sometimes if you're having a dream of somebody you haven't seen and all of a sudden you see them or you hear of them or somebody's picking up the phone to call you, absolutely, it's giving you a heads up. You know, dreams are very important. They're very symbolic, but it's very important in how to interpret the dreams, but they're real. They're very, very real. And dreams do come with abundance of messages. So I loved your question, and I say thank you for that. So when you say what's really going on, this is what it is. Just like when she said they extended my contract. You know, I had a dream that was going to be extended 9 months. They extended it for 8.5 months. It's already giving you like, hey, you're safe, and you're still going to be working there. There it is. Okay? So I really loved the question, and I say thank you for submitting that. Okay. The next one that I get is, hello, Susan. My question is, what happens during the life review of my loved one who suffered from substance abuse? Do they get a second chance? Do they feel guilt? Well, great question, because this happens a lot in my readings where I will contact somebody who has passed, and I can always tell if they had an addictive personality. And the first thing that they will always say is how truly regretful and sorry. There is so much remorse in that reading. And yet, nobody's told me anything. Okay, not even my client sitting there. And of course, my client is saying, they're really sorry, Susan? Yeah, they are. Why? When you go through the light, you no longer have the addictions. It's like when somebody had their leg amputated and they come whole. You are whole, but you are your best self without all the things that dampened you in life. This is what's so magical about crossing over. And I tell people, when it's your time, go through that light. And this is what's really happening. So now the person who was addicted on drugs is no longer that person. We do have a life review. And I always say, we sit before God and we have to go through all the pain that we caused people to feel that hurt and that pain. You're going to say, that's not nice. Necessary, though. We also get to feel every joy that we gave somebody as well, because it's showing and teaching us the difference between something good and something not good. And it's for our soul growth. So do they feel remorse? 1,000%. Are they going to be okay? Yes, because many people will say, well, what are they doing up there? There's so many different dimensions to the other side. But a lot of times it's really working on your soul growth with the angels and with God. So yes, it's a lot on the other side. And it isn't just one way. But everybody who has done wrong somehow, some way, will feel that difference of remorse. But that's a good thing, because I love when I see people that are remorseful, because when they're remorseful, they're growing, even on the other side. So I love the question. The question is great. Do they get a second chance? Absolutely, when they reincarnate. So they do. They will choose when they want to reincarnate, because God gives us choice when. If we have to, we will. But it's up to us to when we want to come back. Okay? So it's very, very much, I love it because it's all about free will. The next question I got was, how can I find peace? People are struggling right now with that. There's a lot of people that cannot find peace within themselves. But here's the thing. When you're overthinking everything, that's what's going to get you in trouble. I know it's hard, easier said than done, but surround yourself with good things around you. Peaceful things, tranquility things, funny things. We need to laugh as people. And I don't see laughter being part of our everyday life. Everything has gotten way too serious. So we are out of alignment, and there's no peace and balance to that. Another thing to find peace, whatever you're struggling with, and you could have been a better person. Maybe you had to learn from that. And yes, you're going to feel very sad about it. Like, gosh, I wish I would have done more. Or I wish I didn't do that to that person. I wish I didn't say that to that person. You can't change the past, but you can only change how you are now by learning and not being that type of person that you're not happy about. The third thing is forgiveness. You cannot have peace unless you forgive. You need to forgive the other person, but you also need to forgive yourself. Because if you don't have forgiveness, you will never have peace. It's not okay to say, I was a bad person. That doesn't mean that's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is acknowledging you did wrong and really doing the work to change that. But if you do that, you are on your way to being a better, well-rested, well-rounded, where everything will start becoming more in alignment for yourself. So this is how you will gain peace, being a better person, a better version of who you used to be, and to forgive. The last question that I have is, what is the meaning of life? Deep. You know, we come in so many different ways, in so many different bodies, because I always say we're recycled souls in new bodies, for various different things, for the experience. The meaning of life is the experiences that we have to live through, but also take with us. So we're experiencing it, and we're seeing how high our soul growth is growing. This is very, very important. To experience is what's going to make us whole. The good, the bad, the ugly, as they say. But the meaning of life is to really see what really is important. All this materialism that I'm seeing in this world, you think it's going to matter when you cross? No, it's not going to matter what house you lived in, but what's going to matter is the love that you put into that house. Was there love in the house amongst you, your family? Think about that. You know, did you have a great car? Did you help people? Did you give people rides to take them where they wanted to go? Did you help them go to a doctor's appointment? Were you the facilitator that was able to do that? Taking care of somebody, being the caregiver. Unconditionally, not because hopefully they'll leave you in their will. I get that all the time. I see so many parents and they have so much money, and certain kids will do things just to get the money. Sometimes even change the will around because dad's got dementia. So it's the experiences. We are put in so many different scenarios, but it's what we do with them. Doing the right thing. My husband always said, it's truly not hard to do the right thing, but so many people find that to be such a challenge. The meaning of life is to experience, and hopefully you doing the right thing. Now, there's a lot of times I can flip it. You can always be the person doing the right thing and you get screwed. Well, maybe this is the lifetime to teach you not to have people take advantage of you in that way, to grow a spine. Think about that. You know, I've got somebody who's got a very difficult mother. Very difficult. She's not a nice person. She's got a very ugly spirit about her. But yet he can't stand up to her because he says, well, she's still my mother. No, what's right and wrong. It's not right when somebody takes advantage of you. It's not right when somebody is always picking you apart and dissecting you. You know, we all have parents, but the way we need to respect them, our parents also need to respect us. Having that balance. And there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, this is not okay to say this to me. Think about that. Our life experiences are going to determine the next reincarnation to what we have to work on. So again, it's all about the experiences. I always like to think the final lifetime and the last lifetime that we really get it right, that we can be as close to God-like as possible to join God permanently on the other side. So be the best person you can. Work on you. You're a human being. I'm a human being. We're all going to make mistakes, but do not make the same mistakes. Learn from them, because if you don't, that whole experience went for nothing. Think about that. And you certainly don't want to repeat it. So I hope this gave you food for thought. I want to say thank you to this audience, because this audience that really partakes and listens and submits the questions, you're all so special. I would not be here if it wasn't for all of you. I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. So I say thank you to each and every one of you. Travis and I are so fortunate to have all of you as an audience. Keep the questions coming, and I will address them as soon as I get them. Okay? Have a very blessed week. Subscribe to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, more to come. You take care. Bye-bye.